Good morning, dear students. Dear students, today we are reading our lesson number 1, The Mouse Deer and the Tiger. Dear students, it is very obvious from the name of the lesson that in this lesson we are going to have some information or maybe having some description about the mouse deer and the tiger. So let's have some information about the mouse deer. Mouse deer are slightly bigger than a cat. Their body and face resemble a mouse, and legs and tail resembles a deer. They stand about 12 inches tall at the shoulder and characteristically walk on the hoof tips of their slender legs. The fur is reddish brown with spots and stripes of paler color or white. The underside is pale. The mouse deer is the smallest known hoofed mammal and is a herbivore, means plant-eating animal, eat fruits, leaves and shoots, etc. So dear students, this is all about the mouse deer. Now about the tigers. Tigers are the largest cat species in the world, reaching up to 3.3 meters in length and weighing up to 670 pounds. Tigers are easily recognizable with their dark vertical stripes and reddish-orange fur. So, dear students, there is a great difference between the physical appearance of these two animals, as tiger is about 3.3 meters in length and the mouse deer is about the size of a cat, and it is about 12 inches tall and it has a very slender legs. So there is a great difference between these two animals. Now dear students, let's have some introduction about the mouse deer and the tiger. The stories of mouse deer is a series of traditional fables. It's an Indonesian folk tale. So it's a story, and my dear student, remember this thing: when it's a folk tale, there is always a moral lesson behind there for us to learn. So in Indonesian and Malaysian fables, mouse deer is the trickster and he is always featured as the protagonist. Protagonist is the main character of the novel, main character of the story. He is having a high esteem due to its ability to overcome obstacles and defeat adversaries despite of its rather small size and benign appearance. He uses his intelligence to triumph over beings more powerful than himself. Dear students, in this lesson, intellect versus power theme is discussed with the help of mouse deer and the tiger. So dear students, now you are having a slight idea of what we are going to read in this lesson. Let's start reading the lesson. Lesson number 1, The Mouse Deer and the Tiger. Many countries have stories about small, weak creatures, animals or people who can outwit bigger, stronger creatures. Outwit means to win by great cleverness. Often the animals talk and behave like people. Malaysia has many stories like this. People in other countries like to read them, especially ones about the mouse deer. He is small and not very strong, but he is quick and clever. Have you read this story? So dear students, in the opening paragraph, the writer has told you that such stories are told not only in Indonesia and Malaysia, but there are many other countries as well. And the writer also told us that the characters in these stories are given human attributes, means they talk, think and behave like human beings. The people of other countries, they like to read the stories of Mouse Deer, who is a very small creature but full of wit and intellect. The writer at the end of the paragraph posing a question that have you read this story, so that in order to arouse the interest of the readers. Paragraph number 2. One hot day in the forest, the mouse deer heard the tiger coming. He knew that the tiger would want to eat him, so he quickly thought of a trick. When the tiger appeared, the mouse deer pretended to be guarding some rotten leaves. So now here the writer has started the story that it was a hot day in the forest when the mouse deer he heard that the tiger is coming towards him, and he was also aware of this thing that the tiger would want to eat him. So in order to protect himself, he ultimately thought of a deceitful action. He ultimately thought of a trick or a technique by which he could save his life. So when the tiger appeared, although he was not doing anything, but when the tiger appeared, he pretended, he made a false show that he was protecting, he was watching over some rotten leaves. Rotten leaves, he was watching over some decayed leaves. What is that? Asked the tiger. It is food, said the mouse deer, but it is very special food. It is the king's food and I am guarding it. So this is the trick, this is the technique of mouse deer, that although the leaves were rotten, but he made it deceitful by saying that it is a very special food and it is the king's food. Royal food, said the tiger. I must taste that. You cannot, cried the mouse deer. It's the king's food. And then he ran away into the jungle. So by arousing his interest in that rotten leaves, he ran away into the jungle. The tiger took a huge bite at the leaves. He expected them to taste delicious, but they did not. As you are aware of this thing, that they were rotten leaves, so how they can taste yummy and pleasant? They were only rotten leaves. With a growl of anger, the tiger ran after the mouse deer. He wanted to take the revenge of this thing. So the mouse deer then found a long, brightly colored snake which was asleep. He sat down near it. When the tiger appeared, growling with rage, the mouse deer said, be quiet, I am guarding the king's belt. It is a magic belt. The person who wears it can wish for anything he wants. That is why the king can wear it. So the mouse deer was such an intelligent creature that he was aware of this thing. He had this knowledge that the tiger is after him. So he ultimately found a long, brightly colored snake, and it was his luck that the snake was asleep. So he sat down near it. When the tiger appeared, growling with rage, the mouse deer said, be quiet. So now the roles are topsy-turvy, that now he is playing the role of the king, and he said that be quiet, I am guarding the king's belt. It is a magic belt. The person who wears it can wish for anything he want. So now he is arousing the interest of the tiger, that this is the magic belt and the person who wears it can wish for anything. The stupid tiger began to try to persuade the mouse deer to let him wear the belt. So the tiger is foolish because he tried to convince the mouse deer to let him wear the belt. Please let me wear it, he said. I want to have one wish, then I will return it to you. Of course, he really intended to keep it. The mouse deer refused at first, then he pretended that the tiger had persuaded him. All right, he said, but please don't put it on until I have gone. he ran off into the forest. So now this is the stupidity of tiger, that he wanted to wear that magic belt, and of course he really intended to keep it. Intended means he had this aim that he is not going to return that magic belt. The mouse deer refused at first. The mouse deer at first denied, and then he pretended that the tiger has persuaded him. So then he, in a way, made this false show that the tiger had convinced him. All right, he said, but please don't put it on until I have gone. This is also the great trick of the mouse deer, that he forbade him that not to put it on until I have gone. He secured himself that he ran off into the forest. When the tiger tried to put on the belt, the snake woke up. It was angry and wrapped itself round the tiger and bit it. After a hard struggle, the tiger managed to escape. He ran after the mouse deer, screaming with rage. "I'll kill you," he shouted at the top of his voice. So the stupid tiger, when he tried to put on the magic belt in order to fulfill his wishes, the snake woke up. As you are aware of this thing, that it was not the magic belt, it was the snake that was asleep. So the snake was angry and it wrapped itself around the tiger and bit it. It was a very hard struggle that he managed to escape from the snake. He ran after the mouse deer, screaming with rage. Screaming means shouting with pain, and he was full of anger for the mouse deer, and he said, "I'll kill you," he shouted at the top of his voice. But the mouse deer was calmly standing by a large round thing when the tiger appeared. This is the third trick that is played by the mouse deer, that he found a large round thing. He did not seem to be afraid because he had fooled the tiger twice. Now he did not seem to be afraid. Now he is quite confident. "Please be quiet," he said to the tiger. "Can't you see what I am doing? I am guarding this drum. It's a royal drum. It belongs to the king. Only the king may play it. Isn't it beautiful? It makes a beautiful sound, but I can't let you play it." So now again he has aroused his interest, that I can't let you play the royal drum. "I will play it," roared the tiger. "If you try to stop me, I'll eat you. Now run away." This is the height of his stupidity, that he was fooled twice. And this is the third time that he is in a way again befooled by the mouse deer, as it was not the royal drum, it was the bee's nest. As the mouse deer ran off, the tiger struck the drum a great blow with his paw. But the thing was not the drum, it was a bee's nest. The angry bees flew out and stung the tiger until he ran off into the forest and was never seen again. So when he struck the drum, a great blow with his paw. Struck is the second form of strike, and it means hit. So when he hit the drum, a great blow with his paw, as you are aware of this thing, that it was not the drum, it was the bee's hive, it was the bee's nest. So the angry bees flew out and stung the tiger. Stung is the second form of sting, and it means prick or bite. So they pricked the tigers until he ran off into the forest and was never seen again. "I may be small," said the mouse deer, "but I am clever." So at the end of the lesson, there is the statement of mouse deer, that I may be small, so that don't underestimate my small size. Because I am clever, I use my wit in a smart way. So the moral lesson of this story is, This lesson proves the maxim that where there is a will, there is a way. You people have noticed this thing that he wanted to save his life, so he ultimately thought of different ways in which he could save his life, and you have seen that he definitely had saved his life. So use your intellect and wit smartly. There will be some things that keep you away from what you want, but don't give up. Just think again and again, and then you will find a way that can lead you to your goal. Dear students, we are going to do some written work, which is words and their meanings, short replies, and true and false. Let's start with the words and their meanings. The very first word is creature, living beings, outwit, to win by great cleverness, pretended, made a false show. False show means दिखावा करना. Rotten, decayed, not fresh. Decayed means गले सड़े. Royal, related to king or queen. Delicious, delightful to taste, or the other meaning can also be tasty. Growl, an angry loud sound of a tiger. Intended, wished, or the other meaning is aimed. Refused, denied means मना कर देना, इनकार कर देना. Wrapped, covered. Screaming, shouting with pain. Escape, to get free. Calmly, silently. Roared, make a loud, deep sound. Guarding, protecting, or watching over. Now, the true and false of this lesson. Your question is, which of these sentences are true and which are false? Statement number 1. Many countries have stories like the mouse deer story. Dear students, as we had read the first paragraph, we had this line that there are so many other countries where such stories are told. So it is a true statement. Statement number 2. The mouse deer story is read in Pakistan only. It is a false statement. Why it is a false statement? Because people all around the world like to read the stories of mouse deer. That is why it is a false statement. Statement number 3 is, in the story you have just read, the tiger was strong but stupid. This is a true statement because there were three situations in the story where the tiger was befooled by the mouse deer. So this proved this thing that he was strong, but he was nonsense, he was stupid. Statement number 4 is, the mouse deer was quick, clever, and brave. This is also a true statement because he was a brave, he was quick, and he was clever as well. And because of these qualities, he was able to scare the tiger and save his life. Last, the tiger was greedy. Yes, the tiger was greedy because he wanted to taste the royal food, he wanted to wear the magic belt, he wanted to have the royal drum. All these three things shows that he was a greedy person. Now dear students, we have short replies. Question is, give short replies to the question, and how you are going to give the short replies like yes, he was, no, he wasn't. Yes, he did, no, he didn't. Dear students, when there is a requirement that you have to give a short reply, you have to keep this thing in your mind that we are going to keep the auxiliaries of the question. We have to retain the auxiliaries of the question. How? For example, that the question number 1 is, was the mouse deer small? In this question, Your auxiliary verb is was. So we are going to retain, we are going to keep this auxiliary verb in our short reply. If it is a positive reply, we are going to say yes, he was. And if it is a negative reply, we are going to use the contracted form of that negative statement. How? That was he strong? No, he was not. No he was not नहीं करेंगे, but we use no he wasn't. Was he slow? No he wasn't. Was he clever? Yes he was. Similarly, in question number 5, did the tiger want to eat the mouse deer? No he didn't. Were the leaves really royal food? No they weren't. Did he want to kill the mouse deer? Yes he did. Did he try to eat the leaves? Yes, he did. Was the tiger angry? Yes, he was. Dear students, notice this thing that when there is a short reply, we end at the auxiliary verb. We are not going to add any noun before that auxiliary verb. It is incorrect when we say yes he was small, because the demand of the question is that we have to give a short reply and the short reply end on the auxiliary verb. Question number 10, and we have to give short replies to these questions. Dear students, when we have to give short replies to the question, we have to retain the auxiliary verbs in the reply in the answer. So let's start with question number 10. Was there a magic belt? Answer is no, comma, there wasn't. Question number 11. Did the tiger really persuade the mouse deer? Answer is no, comma, he didn't. Question number 12. Did the tiger put on the belt? Answer is yes, he did. Question number 13. Was the snake angry? Answer is yes, it was. Did it bite the tiger? Answer is yes, it did. Was the tiger angry? Yes, he was. Question number 16. Did the tiger believe the mouse deer? Yes, he did. Was the mouse deer really guarding a drum? No, he wasn't. And question number 18. Did the tiger want to strike the drum? Yes, it did. So all these questions are replied by following the same pattern. Now come to the exercises. Exercise number 1 is that we have to recap, or we have to recall in our mind the concept of countable and uncountable noun. That noun has two categories. There are two kinds of noun. One is that we can count. They are known as countable nouns. And the other is the noun or the things which we cannot count but we can measure them. They are known as uncountable noun. So your question is that finish the sentences. If the word is countable, add s. Add s means you have to make plural. For example, pencil, pencils, ruler, rulers. So if the word is countable, you have to add s, and definitely with plurals we use are. So we are going to use are. And if the word is uncountable, for example, rice is uncountable, ice is uncountable, bread is uncountable. So we are not going to add s, and we are going to use the helping verb is with these kinds of nouns. So let's read some example. Rice. Rice is cheap. Everybody eats it. We have used is because rice is uncountable noun. Pencil. We can make the plural of pencil because pencil is a countable noun. Pencils are useful. So when we have add s, we use are. Pencils are useful. You can buy them anywhere. Similarly, flowers are beautiful. We put them in vases. So, if the noun is countable, we have to make the plural of that noun and we have to use the helping verb accordingly. Now come to the exercise. First noun is bread. It is uncountable, so we use bread is made from flour. It is made by a baker. Number 2, shoes. Shoe is a countable noun, so we have made plural of this noun. Shoes are often made of leather. We buy them in shops. Number 3, leather. Leather is uncountable noun. Leather is often used to make shoes. It is very strong. Number 4, grass. Dear students, grass is also uncountable noun, so we use is. Grass is green. Cows like to eat it. Number 5, ruler. Ruler is a countable noun, so we add s, rulers, and then we use are. Rulers are often made of wood. We use them for measuring. Number 6, wood. Wood is uncountable noun, so we do not add s and we use is. Wood is used to make many things because it is cheap. Number 7, advice. Advice is also uncountable noun. Advice is useful if it is good advice. Number 8, ship. Ship is a countable noun. We make plural of this noun, ships, and then we use are. Ships are sometimes made of steel, but they are sometimes made of wood. So dear students, keep this thing and keep this idea in your mind. And now we are going to do another exercise in which we have to change the sentences into plural. Dear students, when we have to change the sentences into plural, not only the main noun is converted into plural, but there must be a noun-verb coordination, that the verb must be used in coordination with the noun. If the noun is singular, we are going to use the verb according to the singular noun. And if the noun is plural, we are going to use the verb according to plural noun. So let's do the exercise. Change the sentences into the plural. A butcher sells meat. Dear students, when there is a, it denotes that we are talking about a single person, we are talking about a single object. So when we have to convert it into plural, we are not going to add a in the plural sentence. So we are going to remove the a, and the plural sentence will be butchers sell meat. Dear students, notice this thing that when the sentence was singular, we use s with the first form of verb. But when we converted it into plural, we simply use first form of verb. Understand? Now B is a fisherman catches fish. We are going to remove a in all the sentences. The plural of fisherman is fishermen and the verb is accordingly catch. Fishermen catch fish. C. A student goes to school. Students go to school. D. A cook cooks food. Cooks cook food. E. A postman delivers letters. Postmen deliver letters. We are going to make the plural of the main verb and we are going to use the verb according to the plural noun. A mechanic looks after engine. The plural of mechanic is mechanics look after engine. A tailor makes clothes. Tailors make clothes. Last, a pilot flies an aeroplane. Pilots fly an aeroplane. Dear students, keep this thing in mind that when the subject is singular, we add s or es with first form of verb. And if the noun is or if the subject is plural, we simply use first form of verb. That is why we have removed the s or es with verb when we converted them into plural. Hopefully you have got all my points. Do this work neatly in your neat copies. If you have any confusion, any query, you can ask in the comments. Thanks. Have a nice day.